Welcome back for part two. I'm here with Luke from Talk Tours, and we are going to start talking about land journeys and what they're all about with Talk. So, I have my first question for you, Luke. Let's dive into the land journeys and what makes a Talk land trip stand out.
Yeah, good question. So we have various different product lines, and the first, which is our most popular, which is land journeys, which we do basically all over the world, but we've many, many in Europe and North America. But what makes them, stand out? What makes them different? Well, the logistics are seamless. So in the first video, I talked about airport transfers, even if you arrive in early, we'll provide them. The exclusive access that we talked about. So that could be to just to name a few more. I talked about the Sistine Chapel. I talked about the House of Monet in Giverny. It could also be the Louvre in Paris. So imagine you go to the Louvre, and if you've been before, you'll know that the Mona Lisa is the size of a postage stamp. But you've probably gone and it's very, very busy. It feels kind of like you're at a festival because people have their phones up taking pictures. You can barely see it. If you go with us, then you're going to go just us early in the morning. Well, not too early. And you'll be able to be in the Louvre just with your group. Enriching storytelling. So our guides, our travel directors, our local experts really are exceptional. And that comes from like being very, very selective during the hiring process. But I just came back from a tour to the Canadian Rockies, and our tour director, Jake Gould, has to be one of the most eloquent people that I've ever met. And it was just really, really just a joy to have him doing these commentaries to us as we travel throughout the Canadian Rockies. Because he was so eloquent, and he would have these afterthoughts after each, comment that he would just share his inside voice with us as well. And it was absolutely hilarious, this sort of very dry Canadian wit, and very, very informative from, talking about the color of the lakes in the Rockies to the formation of the mountains and information about the First Nations as well. So I would say that the storytelling really goes is above and beyond at Tauck. And then our hotels. So most people would describe Tauck as luxury, and we won't fight you on that description. However, sometimes we're going to choose the experience and the location, even if that means staying in a hotel that's not a five-star hotel. So you can guarantee that hotels, for the most part, are going to be very luxurious, from castles in Ireland to five-star hotels in the center of Rome to Fairmonts all around the Rockies or Four Seasons throughout the world, or even Oberoi hotels as you travel perhaps in India. But if you go to a national park with us, then we're going to choose to put you in a lodge in the park, and that can be quite a dramatic difference. So, for example, on our Canadian Rockies itinerary, or sorry, our American Canyonlands itinerary, you're going to start in a Four Seasons in Troon in Arizona, and it's beautiful. But then you're going to go into the park and you're going to be staying in one of the lodges, which is definitely a downgrade in luxury, but you're right there in the park. So you can just walk to the canyon in the morning, the Grand Canyon, and see it before anybody else gets to the park. And you can go there with your local expert as well. Um, so I would say beautiful hotels, but sometimes we're choosing beautiful locations over that luxury. So those are the things I think that would make the land journeys unique, that seamless logistics, exclusive access, enriching storytelling, and beautiful hotels.
That's awesome. Um, can you give us a behind the scenes peek at how these itineraries are crafted?
It's such a huge process. So it takes about 2 years. And it starts with research in the office. So let's say we pick a destination, and Tauk is constantly coming up with new itineraries. Each year we come up with new itineraries. And the reason why is because we've guests who've traveled with us 30 or 40 times. And in order to, keep our guests satisfied, we design new itineraries, new experiences. And it's an ever-changing world as well, and that's a good reason to create new itineraries too. But it starts in the office, so people, design the itinerary, but then we'll have tour architects going out driving in their cars around to different destinations to see does it work logistically. But they're also searching for special things. Now, this could be a dude ranch in Montana, or it could be the home of a baron in somewhere in Europe, or a castle in Ireland, in England. And what they'll do is they'll just walk up and knock on the door and say, "Hey, we're Tauck. We'd love to work with you. Can we create something exclusive and special where we can give you the opportunity to connect with our guests?" And that's how we build these relationships. And some of them have been existing for decades and decades at this point. So that's how we provide our unique access. Then, once we've built those relationships and designed an itinerary, we'll have a team go out in a motor coach. And the idea is that they would drive around and see if the motor coach the speed and the parking, all these things are factored into this, to make it right from the very beginning, because we don't want to have a couple of test runs with clients. We want all that done before we actually have our guests on board. And the price is the price with Tauck. So you've heard of dynamic pricing. This is where tour operators will set a certain price at a certain time. They won't put it in the brochure because it's going to change. They change it based on demand. And we don't do that at Tauck because we believe in doing the right thing. So the price is the price. What it says in the brochure is the price it stays.
Perfect. What are a few of your most popular or signature land itineraries?
There are many. Classic Italy is incredible. When I was 22, I went to the Amalfi Coast to study Italian for 2 weeks. I didn't leave for 2 years, so I got to know Italy quite well. I've led tours there as well for other companies, and when I read the Tauck itinerary, I was just blown away by it because it's going to start in Sorrento. So you get the Amalfi Coast, you're going to do Pompeii. Then you're going to travel up and you're going to stop in Orvieto, which is a stunning city which is raised up on a huge cliff, overlooks the land. That's where you're going to have a beautiful lunch and wine tasting. Then you're going to head up and you're going to stay in the heart of Rome in a five-star hotel. You're going to do the unique access where you go to the Sistine Chapel after hours. Then you're going to head up north towards Florence. And when you stay in Florence, you're going to have access to Michelangelo's David before it opens. So you'll be able to go into the Galleria dell'Arte before anybody. Same with the Uffizi Museum. But then you're going to go out to Cinque Terre. And most people will travel from Florence to Cinque Terre by bus, and then they will take the trains between the towns of Cinque Terre. But at Tauck, we're going to do it a little bit more special. We're going to arrive by boat. So you arrive at the first village by boat, and then you take the train between. And then you're heading up further on. You're going to do Verona and Venice. So it's a really special trip. Classic Ireland, sorry, a week in Ireland is beautiful because you're going to stay in Dromoland Castle on your first night. Then Hayfield Manor in Cork, just absolutely stunning. Um, I think I left out, there's another gorgeous accommodation in Killarney. I can't think of it right now. In Dublin, you're staying in the Shelburne, which is a really top-notch accommodation. So beautiful hotel. The experiences are amazing. You can do amazing things like falconry and horseback riding. Just incredible. And then a new one to the list for me is the Best of the Canadian Rockies, which I just got back from on Sunday. It is an 8-day itinerary. You get picked up either at your hotel or at the airport. You head to Kananaskis County where you stay for one night. You're seeing stunning mountains and, waterfalls and everything, and you think, wow, this is beautiful. But that's the tour just getting started. The next day, you head to Chateau Lake Louise, and at Tauck, we only contract rooms that are lake facing. So when you get into your room, you will be in shock because the view is out of this world. You look out upon this turquoise colored water. In the mornings, it's very still, so the mountains that surround it reflect in it just like glass. It is exceptional. We have a local expert who will take you on a tour the next morning around the lake and along the base of the mountains. No crazy hiking or anything like that, but you can go for hikes in your free time if you like, or you can avail of the spa and all the amenities at this stunning, stunning hotel. Then you head on to Jasper after 2 nights at Lake Louise. Absolutely amazing out there as well. You could take a polar plunge in a glacier-fed lake, which I did, and it was absolutely invigorating. 2 nights there, and then you head on to the castle in the woods, which is the Banff Hotel. So it's a Fairmont as well, and it's absolutely incredible. The view is outstanding. Again, we are only on the side with the view, and while you're there in Banff, we actually take you to Canmore for a helicopter ride over the Three Sisters, which is out of this world. So those are three itineraries that I absolutely love.
That sounds amazing. I need to do that. Canada. That sounds
Yes, the Rockies is, I
that
can't
sounds
believe how amazing it is and how close it is. I think everyone should do it.
definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. How does talk elevate the experience beyond what travelers could plan themselves?
It's got to be that exclusive access that we talked about. So, of course, you can go to these places, but can you go and have the Sistine Chapel to yourself? Can you go to northern Italy and go to the Venaria Real, which is their answer to Versailles, and have the entire palace to yourselves as you go in? No, you can't. So with Tauck, we've built those amazing relationships, and that exclusive access really is something special.
Perfect. Well, I think that's it for part two. So thank you and stay tuned for part three. We're going to be talking about river cruises.
Thank you.